Hi, this is Dimitri Bilgier, and I want to welcome you to the Carpet Work Facilitators Club. I'm really glad you signed up. I've been experiencing a lot of innovation in my carpet work facilitation in the last 6 months or so, and I'm really excited to be able to start sharing that with you and getting your points of view on it, and just we can keep learning together. So today I want to talk about the beginning of the process. You know, back in the old days when we first started doing this, I thought a lot about what's important at the beginning of the process. And I never really could figure out what the best thing to do was. I thought, well, let's just start putting out some parts and see what happens. But what I'm really starting to see now is you can make a process go really well or really poorly depending on how you start it. So I want to give you an example now and walk through how to think about it so you can really start your processes on the right foot and really make life-changing changes with people when you're working with them. So I want to start with an example. There was a group I was mentoring and they were working with a guy and he said, well, okay, what I want to work on is my sexual fantasies. My sexual fantasies are really getting in the way of my relationship with my wife, he said. And I want that to stop. Okay, so that's what he said he wanted to work on. And they started setting up a process. And the way they did that, and I'm saying this is actually a mistake what they did. The way they did that was they picked somebody to play his sexual fantasies, and they got what those fantasies said to him, and they got what he said back, and it never really went anywhere. It didn't really seem to be, almost like it wasn't his process. So afterwards, we were talking about it, and I said, okay, well, what is going on? Why didn't that work? And the reason it didn't work is because they weren't listening all the way to what it is he really longed for and wanted to have happen. So let's talk about this. When a person steps out to be facilitated, usually they step out with a complaint. Put another way, you're not usually stepping out and saying, my life is really great and I want it to be better, please help me with that. Happens occasionally, but not very often. What they're usually stepping out with, there's a thing that's bugging me that I'm not at peace about, right? My sexual fantasies are getting in the way of my relationship with my wife. I want to lose weight, but I keep eating anyway. I'm going to visit my family for a family reunion and I get upset when I see them. Whatever it is. And that's a complaint. And when they have a complaint, what they will kind of present with what they want is they want not that. They want the complaint to go away. Well, that's kind of living in an atmosphere of no. They're not saying what they do want, they're saying what they don't want. I want my relationship with my wife to be better, so I need these sexual fantasies to be gone. Okay. It's really not that. It's very vague and kind of better. What does that even mean? So what you have to do is converse with the participant and find out what it is they really long for in their deepest heart of hearts that they're trying to get to by getting rid of this complaint. This is really important because it gets them on the right path. It gets you as the facilitator on the right path for the process. So you're actually working on what is genuinely bothering them. So you need to go from this to their heart, it's a heart's longing. So how do you do that? Well, you ask questions. And sometimes you have to push a little. So you might say, well, you know, these sexual fantasies are really in the way and I just need them to be gone. I want to get along with my wife. You want to get along with your wife, but this sounds like this is about sexual fantasies. You want to get along with her sexually? It's like, well, you know, just want to have less conflict. Just want to make it through in this relationship. So that's really what your heart longs for, is to make it through. Well, no, that really isn't what my heart longs for. What does your heart long for? Well, I'd like to have a good relationship with her. I'd like to get along in the bedroom better. So if we could give you anything you wanted here that would really fulfill your deepest desire, would be to get along better in the bedroom with your wife. That would be enough. Well, no, I don't think that would be enough. So you see what I'm doing here is I keep asking, what is it he really, truly wants? I worked with somebody once who said, well, you know, I'm married to my wife and I don't like her, but I have to be with her for a few more years because we have a business together and blah, 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 blah. So I just need your help getting along with her. Is that really what you want, just getting along? No, we have to get to the longing. So for the guy with the sexual fantasies, what does he really long for? Well, I long to be building a relationship with my wife where we have an amazing sexual relationship, where we're like, yeah, where things are great in the bedroom. Right? That's what he needs help with. He needs help becoming the guy who can create that. For the guy who is in the relationship, I need to stay for a few more years because of this, that, and the other. No, it was a great relationship. So when they were just working on put out your sexual fantasies and then kind of fight with them, that's not enough. What is he really after? Even though he's given up on it, what is he really after? Look, you need to realize that one of the main things that we do as carpet work facilitators is we help people develop the inner resources, or find really the inner resources, the inner connection and love and blessing, or the inner power and sort of sense of authority to be able to really go for what they most care about in their life. That's what we do. We help people go for it. And we help them get out of their own way. Right? So you got to know what the it is. So if the it is, yeah, I really want to have this amazing sexual relationship with my wife. Wow, okay, so once you get to that, then you can ask this question that I love. So when you go for that, what do you get instead? When you go for that, what do you get instead? Or you could say, what's in the way of that? So I'll start saying, well, gee, we haven't really had sex in a couple of years, and it's been more years than that since it was good. And she's gained a lot of weight, and I've gained a lot of weight too. And it just seems like there's just so many blocks between me and her sexually that it's just never going to work. So there you have a role player. Pick somebody to play. There's so many blocks between you and her, it's never going to work. And pick somebody to play the longing of having this great relationship. Well, now you've got a process going that is about what he truly cares about. And now you're facing what is genuinely stopping him and how he's lost heart and going for what he cares about. Wow. He'll start to see, wow, when of course I go for it, but yeah, there are all these problems that say I might as well give up. But the thing is, I really do want that. Wow. And then you have a process. Then you can start looking at what sort of support does he need to go for it? Or what sort of love does he need to bring in? Or is that a voice that he needs to set a boundary with that's telling him he can never do it no matter what he tries? Because what you want is for him after this process to go home and start building something new with his wife. So, and in the process of all that, by the way, he'll probably start to see, wow, the way that I've given up on going for the relationship I want with my wife, no wonder I have sexual fantasies. No wonder I built a kind of separate sex life from her because I've so given up on it. But once I start to see I can go for it through the process, well then all that stuff is going to start to change. So, okay, people start with a complaint. They ask you to fix the complaint. You've got to dig deeper and find out what they're really after, what their heart really longs for, even though they've given up on it. Then you start putting out the voices about what they're longing for and what they've given up, how they've given up, the voices that tell them they have to give up, and that is what you work. And when you work on that, then you're helping them go for the life they really want. So, first installment of the Carpet Work Facilitators Club. I hope you enjoy it. More coming soon. This is Dmitry Bilgir, signing off.